Hello, everyone. Welcome to the self-knowledge lectures. Today we are having the lecture number 36 of the phase 8, meditation and koans. And in this very interesting lecture, we are going to learn a simple but very effective technique to achieve the state of meditation that is known as the samadhi or the illuminating void, and we are going to do so by using koans. So this is a very practical way to achieve meditation and to get to experience a connection and the reality of the six and the seven dimensions of nature. And well, actually experiencing this meditation, experiencing being free from the ego, and experiencing those only six and three laws that are the ones that governs those superior dimensions. Well, actually, that make us change our perception of life when we have that opportunity to be one with our inner being for a moment, that make us understand the urgency of making a radical change within us, and make us understand the urgency of eliminating our psychological defects to free ourselves from the heaviness and from the mechanicalness to which our ego has subject us. Actually, when one returns from this type of meditations, we come with great strength to continue our inner work and to get to permanently reach those states of fullness and happiness in those higher dimensions. So that's today's lecture objective. Yeah, learn this technique that will allow us to know and experience the higher dimensions of nature. So let's start by talking a little about what meditation is. I think that is important because what meditation is a way to achieve a connection with our inner wisdom by achieving inner silence. It is said that meditation is the bread of the wise because we feed internally when we eliminate the ego, which is like the ignorance in us, and we get to receive the wisdom from our internal Father. That wisdom is the food of our consciousness, and there the need of learning to meditate, because whosoever doesn't know how to meditate will never be able to dissolve the ego. And well, to really learn to meditate, the first thing that we have to keep in mind is that we must become serious with our inner work, and stop drifting between so many meditations that abound everywhere and that don't lead us to really experience a change. We can find many types of meditation, but we can summarize them into two general types: the contemplative meditations and the transcendental meditations. The contemplative meditation are really a waste of time if we want to advance in our inner work, because they are meditation that are not going to lead us to achieve changes in ourselves. They are very beautiful meditations which lead us to feel relaxed, to feel for a moment harmony and peace when listening, to relaxing sound or concentrating on something. But it is this state of peace, of calm, of harmony, only lasts as long as this meditation lasts. But because as soon as we go out and face all the inevitable circumstances of life, be it a disappointment, an argument, an accident, any identification with any problem or situation, we immediately lose that state of harmony that we had achieved with this type of meditations. But on the contrary, the meditations of a transcendental nature are going to lead us to achieve changes within ourselves, because every time that we come out of one of these meditations, we will be different people. We will bring understandings that will lead us to radically change our inner world, and by law of correspondence, if we change inside, our external life start changing. So here in this self-knowledge course, we already learned one of these transcendental meditations, which is the meditation, the reflective meditation that we learned in the lecture number 22 of the phase A. And if you haven't watched that video, you can search that video here in the video section of the page, and there you can learn the reflective meditation, which is a meditation in which you can bring a sin and a sin lift with any psychological defect, work it in detail, and understand how this defect manifested in you, all the justifications and desires, how it manifested in your emotion, in your mind, in your sex, in your instinctive center, in through your verb, through your actions, and you can get to understand yourself, to know yourself, and you can see the manifestation of the ego, and there you have the opportunity of eliminating it. And when you come out from one of these reflective meditations, now you are you have a like a consciousness that you rescued from that process of psychological death in that meditation. And before those situations, you are not going to react in the same way, because now you have a consciousness. Now that you are going to act with that consciousness. And well, the wonderful thing about that type of meditation is that you can do it with any psychological defect that you want to eradicate from you, be it anger, jealousy, depression, anxiety, any vice that you have, lust, fornication, any trauma, any phobia, etc. And the second type of transcendental meditation is the one that we are going to be learning today, which is the meditation with koans. And that is the meditation that will allow us to access the sixth and the seventh dimension with the help of the koans. The koans will help us to guide the ego so we can release the essence, and it can escape and ascend to the higher dimensions of heaven, or the higher dimensions are the heavens, because as we studied in the lectures 5 and 6, where we talk about the dimensions and where they are in us, we saw that those basic dimensions that are in nature also are inside of us, because we are a microcosm. And by getting in meditation inside ourselves, we can connect to these dimensions. The first 5 dimensions are what can be called the earth, and the 6th and the 7th dimension, we are going there to find the kingdoms of heaven. And there in heavens, in the lower part of the 6th dimension, we find the causal world. And there we find the cause of all the things. And there we find, for example, the Akashic records of nature. And we can get to know the cause or the origin of each one of our wrong ways of being. So just by getting there, you're going to receive important information that will help you to advance in the disintegration of your ego. And in the highest part of the 6th dimension, we find the world of the truth, which is here. And in the 7th dimension, we will connect directly with the great reality, or with the ocean of light. So in this meditation, we are going to make our essence to ascend from the lowest part of earth, which is in our sexual center, which is the seat of this third dimension in us. And we are going to make it ascend through the tunnel of light, which is our spine, until reaching, the highest centers, which is heaven. There is the light. And well, you're going to see that just as when one dies, and that is why detachment sometimes causes terror, because you feel like if you're dying, because you're living this third dimension, and you are going up, and you are experiencing this tunnel of light. The important thing in this meditation is that you overcome that terror, that you relax, and that you let yourself go until you access the light of those higher dimensions and experience the reality of those higher dimensions. That is like the purpose of this meditation. But what happens that if you have ever tried to meditate, you will have realized that the mind is a terrible obstacle to achieve meditation. When we try to concentrate, there are all kind of thoughts, emotions, and even sensations appear, and all of them are manifestations of our ego that is not interested at all in that we free ourselves. So to reach the state of meditation, it will be necessary to learn to guard the ego so that the essence can ascend. And well, as we saw in the law of the pendulum lecture, our ego is dual. It moves from the positive to the negative stream. So inside us, we find all kind of negative thoughts, negative emotions, and negative sensations, such as suffering, decadence, materialism, passivity, displeasure, etc. And inside ourselves, we also find thoughts, emotions, sensations, etc., of a positive side, where we find activity, we find pleasure, we find spiritualism, etc. And if we manage to find the center, if we manage to find that critical point, when neither one extreme nor the other is manifested, we will find inner silence. We will reach the stillness of the mind. So that is like the first part of this meditation, to get to find that stillness of mind. And how are we going to get to that point? Well, we are going to start, we are going to use a very simple method. We are going to use the power of our imagination. And the first thing that we are going to do is that we are going to concentrate, and we are going to put like an evolutionary thought by imagining the growth process of something. It can be a fruit plant, a flower, an animal, the construction of a house, for example, the formation of a human being in the womb of the mother, and etc., or whatever that is easy for you to imagine in as much detail as possible. A very simple example is to imagine that we plant some little seeds and they start germinating until they sprout, the trunk grows, little leaves, buds, flowers, etc., until it reaches like the peak of its development, where it is like vigorous, beautiful, and fragrant. You can even feel the fragrance of that you're imagining. And in this way, you are going to be putting into activity all the parts corresponding to the positive stream of your psychology. And what you do immediately is that you start an involutionary thought. What you are going to do is that you are going to imagine how the whole process of decrease and death of that you imagine. Then you imagine how that plant of this example begins to dry up completely until it breaks and there is nothing left of that beautiful plant. And with that process, all the entire negative end of your psychology is like put into activity, and upon reaching the starting point where nothing remains, the mind goes blank for a moment, and then you experience for a moment stillness of the mind. And at that moment, what you do is that you put the koan to leave the ego like muzzled, and thus the essence can like easily escape and ascend to the superior dimensions. And what is the koan? Well, actually, the koan is like a question that doesn't have an answer. It's generally paradoxical. And what happens is that the mind always attempts to answer in some way, but it cannot because it doesn't know the answer. And the thought process becomes exhausted, and that allows the consciousness to arise because the ego is silenced, the mind is silenced, and the essence becomes like liberated briefly. And well, there are many koans that you can use, but I'm going to give you four that are actually quite effective. For example, one very simple koan and very effective. You ask yourself, if two hands clapping make a sound, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Or what sound did one make? And there you wait for the answer until the essence came. You can repeat the question. Repeat the question. The process of thinking is going to be exhausted, and there, in one magical moment, your essence is going to start like escaping. Another koan that you can use: if everything reduces to oneness, then what does oneness reduce to? And you remain still in silence, waiting for the breakthrough. Another very effective koan: where is truth? And then you wait for the answer. If the mind attempts to give any answer, you ignore it. That is not the truth. And you wait for the mind to get exhausted without finding the answer, and the essence escapes. Or the fourth koan: we ask ourselves, where is emptiness? I really like that one. And this is another question with our answer. And when you are there finding where is emptiness, you are going to see an opening. And then when you find that opening, you enter it because you are waiting there for that, for an opening. Where is emptiness? You ask yourself until you discover that opening. That is the koan. That's simple. So the koan is necessary until that breakthrough is achieved. And the first one that is listed here, the one of the clapping noise, is very effective. Practice this, imagining the sound of one hand clapping. You don't need to clap. You just imagine the sound of the hand clapping until that breakthrough is achieved. And something that is important to take into account is that we must use only one koan per practice. If the next time that you do a practice, you want to change the koan, try another one, you can do so. But in one practice, you concentrate in only one koan. Okay, so I'm going to briefly explain to you how this practice is done so that you are encouraged to do it from today. First, you must find a peaceful place. It can be practiced during the day, in the office, or any place where you are not like disturbed by anyone, or even in a room dedicated for meditation. Why not? And well, you are going to see the importance of having such a room or space, solely used for this purpose, only for meditation. This is space dedicated for seeking, inspiring, inspiration and wisdom. So it is a very special place. Now, the second step would be to harmonize that environment by removing the negative energies from the place where we are going to make this practice, and we are going to do so with the song of the belly link, and we are going to clean that space, and we are going to close it with the magic circle of protection, and we saw those conjurations in the lecture number 7, in case you don't know them. And the third step will be to plead for assistance to that upper part of our consciousness, that is our inner being, or God in us. And we are going to ask him to guide us in this practice. Then you perform a relaxation process to get into harmony. You relax your emotion, your mind, and your physical body. And to relax your emotion, you breathe like deeply and slowly for a few minutes, inhaling slowly and long through the nose, retaining and exhaling through the mouth, but quick. The exhalation is quick. You do that process a couple times until you feel your emotion relax. Then you relax your mind, concentrating for a few minutes in all the sounds that are around, but without identifying with them, without thinking of them. You just listen. Any sounds, you let it go, and you look for further noises. You sound them, you let them go. You don't think of them. You concentrate on another sound, and another sound, and another sound, and you're going to experience how your mind like it's like a little quiet. And then you relax your physical body. A very simple relaxation, feeling every part of the body, making yourself comfortable so that nothing is like disturbing it. And you like scan the whole body, and when you feel any tension, you ask for the elimination of that tension to your divine mother, and you let that tension go. And when you feel there relax, then you pass to the following step, in which you are going to be putting the evolutionary thought. You imagine in as much detail as possible how you plant something. For example, a rose. As you imagine how you pour water on it, how you fertilize the land, how you put it in the sun, and you are going to observe how it grows, how the buds begin to appear, how they start to blossom, how the rose bush is full of beauty. One can even feel its aroma. And you're going to do this slowly, as detailed as possible. You're going to be like living every step with your imagination. And then you put the involutionary thought, imagining how the petals begin to dry up and wither. No more blossoms are emerging, the petals fall, the plants begin to dry up like completely. The wind comes and knocks it over. The wind carries the dried up stems and leaves, and nothing is left. There, you are going to achieve this. You're going to achieve the synthesis of the mind, the stillness of mind. And when you reach that point, you apply the koan. You, for example, make yourself the question: if these two hands when clapping sound like this, what sound did one make? And there you remain silent, waiting for the liberation of the essence, because the koan will act like a barricade for the ego, and the essence will be able to arise free. And you are going to stay concentrated in that question until that breakthrough is achieved. And well, once you achieve that, there are like many symptoms that you can feel, and that will let you know that you are achieving that meditation state. For example, you can feel that you are detaching from the physical world. You could start seeing a tunnel of light, and that you begin to be like absorbed by this tunnel. Don't be scared. Let yourself go towards the light. If you get too afraid, then you need to work on your attachments, as we learned in the last lecture that we studied, 35 of the explanations of family and attachments. And well, you could also find yourself consciously imagining or having like a lucid dreaming. There you can move at will there. Or you could feel like vertigo, or you could start feeling like a sense of unity, of becoming one with your own consciousness and with everything. And that is like many of the symptoms that you can feel by doing this practice, that lets you know that you are entering that state of meditation. And well, I hope that you are encouraged to do this practice. And remember to practice patiently until you achieve it, because practice makes perfect. I think that on Saturday we are going to be doing a guided practice, me and you together, a guided practice of this meditation. And this has been today's lecture. As you see, something very simple, but I actually encourage you to practice it and to see how effective this is. And well, I want to invite you to our next lecture that we are going to be starting on Friday. And there we are going to be seeing another simple and quite effective practice, but this one to achieve the conscious astral projection with a method that is known as the jump. So don't miss that lecture that we are going to see on Friday. And well, thank you very much for being here. And if you have any question, leave your questions down there in the chat, and I will be solving gladly any question that you have. Okay, so thank you very much to all of you, and well, see you the next time. Ciao, ciao.